We are honored to have our dear friend and inaugural champ of our real estate reality show win this listing here with us today. Please welcome Senior Real Estate Executive from Garrity Group, Keller Williams, San Diego, Bryan Garrity.
Amy's here. Big Daddy is in the house. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
So, an inside look. You were obviously not only cast on the very first episode of Win This Listing, but you won.
Yes, thank you.
Won the show. Got an amazing result. So, I would just want to kind of go a little bit inside that process because, you know, a lot of people, there's a lot of agents out there who say, I want to be on the show, I want to be on the show. Yeah, a lot of homeowners every day, I want to be on the show, I want to be on the show. But let's drill into it a little bit. So, first of all, when I called you and said, hey, this is what we're doing, it's a property in Hillcrest, your backyard.
Yeah.
What went through your mind? What were you thinking?
I was excited. You know, I'm always up for anything media related, radio, TV. I love that stuff. So I was excited about it. I thought it would be a really great experience. I was coming off all this major medical stuff that I've had, and I was like, am I ready? I just literally had massive surgery, was out of the hospital for 2 days, and we started filming. So it was a good thing. It was a really good thing. Timing was good. But thinking about it from a business perspective, I was like, this will be fun. We compete against other agents, and the nice thing about that too that I never expected was all the other two agents that I participated with, Elizabeth Story and Head of Parashos, are now very dear friends.
Really?
Yeah, they're great people. They're great agents. I mean, they couldn't have gone wrong, but for that episode, it just worked out great. The McCabe's are awesome. I love them. But what was going through my mind was, I love it. I love anything you do. So, you know, you always come to me, come to me first, I'll always do it. You kidding? I'm always game for that. Totally, 100%.
Were you concerned about anything? Were you concerned about, you know, oh, I'm going to go give away all my listing presentation secrets, or,
no.
You know, was there anything that you were worried about?
That's interesting, though. There are people that like to hold their cards close in this industry. I don't understand that. I really don't. I think that people are going to either connect with you or they're not, and then based on your knowledge and experience is hopefully what's going to be the solidifying factor. But like I always say, and I think we've talked about it before, like real estate is a communication business, a personal business, an interpersonal business. It's a relationship business. It is, regardless. I was in law before this. I get it, all the legal stuff, all the contracts, all that. That's a no-brainer for me. What I love the most about it is the relationships that come out of it. So maybe the one thing that I think I had a little bit of pause at first was I'm so used to, my business is all referral based, so I'm so used to like that warm lead going in. Maybe I had a little bit of trepidation at first, and then I thought, yeah, you know what, this is pretty cool. Try it out, and it's really, you've done an amazing job in creating this. I'm not just saying that because we're sitting here. You've really done a big thing, and it's not like the other reality programs that are edited and pared back, because I've been solicited for, I'm not going to say the name of the show, but it's all staged. It's where homeowners are looking at houses, but literally they've already bought the house, and then you show them 2 other properties, but you're really filming in their house that they purchased, but it's set up as if they're looking at it for the first time. That didn't resonate well with me.
Yeah.
So I just didn't want to do that.
And you knew the premise of this program was to help people make an informed decision. And
I love that.
Ultimately get, you know, a good agent to work with on the sale of their home, which is super important. And this is in the spring of 2016.
Yeah, March.
When we were, so it was March 2016 when we were shooting for this program, and it was a rental property.
Right.
The little 500
square foot condo. Perfect condition. It was in mint condition. I will say for being a rental, they kept that place A+.
It was in great shape. Do you remember the crazy neighbor?
I had just finished, so.
So you weren't around?
No,
you didn't see any of that stuff?
That crazy dude. No, I saw it on TV. I said he's like eating oatmeal and bars, and that was hilarious how you edited the show for it, because it was funny. But yeah, it was a cuckoo bird. There's so many cuckoo birds out there, though. What are you talking about?
It was crazy.
Part of being in a condominium community with that fractional ownership, you just never know what you're going to get. And you could have a crazy neighbor in a detached setting as well, but they're much closer to you in a condo. So yeah, the girls were a little nervous, the ladies were a little nervous about it.
Yeah, I was nervous about it. You know, when you have someone like that who's sort of flying off the handle, maybe he didn't take his meds that day, or you know, whatever the deal was.
He's definitely lacking medication. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Flying off the handle,
no.
he's screaming, cursing at our crew. And, you know, I didn't know if he's going to come out with a crossbow or something. I mean, you know, so the whole time I just kept being like, where is he? Where is he? I want to have my eyes on him. And then when I finally confronted him, he backed down. But it was, and then the police showed up, and so that was our very first day filming.
I know. I really your first venture out when you think about it. Who could ask for more? Most reality people would be like, woohoo, I hit the jackpot.
They call the cops
neighbor.
themselves and be like, hey, somebody's doing something.
Oh, no, they plant the neighbor. There really wasn't a neighbor. They just have someone show up on the premises.
An actor.
Yeah, but no, that guy was legitimately crazy. I mean, legitimately crazy.
Well, now, the situation was, yeah, so aside from the crazy neighbor, you know, the situation was that it was actually it's a great location, really good unit, nice unit, in-unit laundry, which is tough in some of those older condo complexes. It had the elevator there. It was very quiet. And so there were a lot of good things about this particular unit. But the other two agents really, their price point for what they were expecting, between $250 and $260, is what they thought that it would sell for, and you were much higher. Explain where you were thinking there.
Well, if you looked at it, I see exactly where they were coming from. Totally. I saw it. But once we were in the unit and looked at it, and I know the area so well, I know how the market is, and not that they didn't, I'm not saying that, but that Hillcrest area, I sell a lot around there in the metro areas. I just knew. Once we were in there especially, that solidified it. And then I knew it had to have a 3 in front of it. I'm not just pulling that out of my behind. I'm just saying, like, I knew it was like a 325, 350 proposition. I thought maybe 350 until we got there, then the square footage, and I thought, okay, back down to like 324.9 or so. And we could have got a little bit more, but the sellers were so happy with the offer that we did get that they're like, don't push, which is fine. I mean, you
got an offer, a good offer within a week.
Yeah, the first 3 days.
For $300,000?
Yeah, 300. And they were worried about like the appraisal had come in at 250, and you know that's perfect example of why the show is a learning experience for people, because appraisals are subjective. I'm not saying that the same appraiser would bring something. People will always say like, oh, they brought it in right at the contract price. What a coincidence. No, that's not a coincidence, not at all. The appraisers are going to bring, as long as it's justified, they're not going to overextend themselves. It's very rare, unless you're getting a property that is definitely under market, not happening in this market for the most part. But unless you're having a really under market property, they're going to bring it in a contract. They're not going to throw extra money on there.
Well, think about the appraiser's job. You know, the appraiser's job was really to determine the number which the market has just determined.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
totally.
you know, the fair market value, what is someone willing to sell it for? What is someone else willing to buy it
Totally.
for? So that's literally the number that the appraiser's trying to find.
No, and like the pre-appraisal, all of that made sense. Like the ladies' comps, like Elizabeth and Hedda, where they were coming from, I get where they were coming from, totally get it. I just knew that area, that pocket, that location, condition, no. I knew what other things were selling for right in that area, so you had to do a little bit more of a reach, and I just knew, and I'm not acting like, oh, all-knowing. No, not at all. But in that case, I was very confident about it. Yeah. I just because I have a lot of clients that wanted to be in that or have wanted to be in that area, and it's been a challenge. Oh, now, are you kidding? A year later, it's even crazier. It's just insane out there.
You think that property's gone up in value in the last year?
Oh yeah, they're loving it. Are you kidding? I see them going for like 380, 400. Now, that was the 1 bedroom, but the 2 bedroom, I just saw a 2 bedroom in there go for like 380 or 4. I can't remember.
Wow.
So I doubt that an additional bedroom is another $100,000, but certainly another 40 or 50. It depends on the buyer, right? 1 buyer, 1 seller. That's all it takes.
That's right.
I always tell people that. So remember, 1 buyer, 1 seller.
Now this was a rental unit for the McCabe's, and they actually ended up also buying a home.
They're so wonderful.
Which was part of their whole thing, was they wanted to unload the rental property in a good market.
Right.
And also they wanted to buy a home for themselves.
Yes, and they are the most amazing people. I love them. And what I love about Win This Listing, that relationship would not have been afforded to me in another opportunity. It just wouldn't have been, because I wouldn't have had the sphere that would have connected me with them.
And you did such a great job. And the Caves are so happy. So many great things that they had to say about their experience with Big Daddy Bryan Garrity. And, you know, it made the show look so good to outperform the marketplace, to outperform where everyone else was, and to really showcase that, hey, you know, different agents have different ideas about what a home is worth.
Yes.
It's not cookie cutter. It's not all the same. And the choice that you make is important.
And I went, you know what? This is a really good point out of that. I had somebody just say this, another seller. So it's interesting how I worked with 4 different agents in their life, and all 4 of them are so different, and you are so very different than any other agent I worked with. I'm like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? A good thing, fortunately. But it's interesting to me how, yes, you have your set stuff, your disclosures, this and that, everyone's going to work with. But at the end of the day, that's what I like about Win This Listing. You're giving them 3 different agents, 3 different skill sets. You're not bringing anybody there that is not absolutely qualified to obtain the listing. They all are. But everybody has a different style. And I really believe at the end of the day, what you're bringing to the consumer are agents that know what they're doing, agents that produce, agents that are committed. And it really gives that homeowner an opportunity to see 3 different styles and what's going to be the best fit for them. Maybe on some, it's not a good fit. Maybe on others, it is a good fit. And that's okay. That's a good takeaway for me too, because I'm so used to having the warm referrals, and I'm not bragging, 0. I have no ego, none. But if it's a referral and they're in front of me, we're listing. It just is. It's not like, oh, I'm going to talk to 2 or 3 other agents. It just doesn't happen that way. But in this case, they were.
Yeah.
And so it was competing. It was interviewing for the job. And I thought that was fantastic. And it really keeps you on your toes. Although I don't ever feel, you know me, I don't ever feel very lax. Derek can attest to that. But I am, but I certainly will always tell it how it is. And if that doesn't work for somebody, that's not a good fit for me. And it probably won't be a good fit for them. If people don't want to hear the truth, then you need to move on to another agent. Absolutely, for sure. If you want to know the truth and you want someone that's going to work their butt off for you, then it's definitely a good fit.
If you want to know the truth and you want someone who's going to work their butt off for you, it's Big Daddy Bryan Garrity.
Get it?
Thank you so much for coming in today, man. Really appreciate your time and all the work
it.
you've done for Win This
Thank
Listing.
you for
Really appreciate
everything.
it. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else. We'll do it all commercial free.